Hello and welcome. My name is Roger Quayle, and you are listening to My Life in the Mosh of Ghosts. Hello there, and welcome back to My Life in the Mosh of Ghosts with me, your host, Roger Quayle, and thank you for joining me. Today, no messing around, we're going to get straight into the Human League and the Scars, with two nights, one at Manchester University on Monday the 19th of May, and the second one at Derby Assembly Rooms on Wednesday the 21st of May. A job. Finally, I have a job. Almost a year to the day since I left school, and after 25 job applications this year alone, I am to be a pensions and insurance clerk at the National Coal Board. Mum and Dad are delighted. A proper job, with much better prospects than that odd pop group with the unpronounceable name that I play with. I have an aunt in management at the NCB who is apparently on first name terms with Arthur Scargill. She tells my parents that I got the job on merit, which immediately sends me scurrying for a dictionary to check out the definition of nepotism. No matter, at 61 quid a week, plus overtime, bonuses and flexi hours, I'll take it. Mammon, come for me. T-Rex, Unicorn, the spiders from Mars, Jet Silver and the dolls of Venus. All these cherished exotic creatures from my teens are ill-prepared for the meteorite of adulthood that finally threatens to obliterate my adolescence. Once again, it's time to don the fern green suit and traverse the cobblestones of Sheffield's Paradise Square like a one-man Burnham would, and descend upon my own personal Dunsinane at the NCB's Queen Street offices. Can I balance a steady 9-to-5 job with my dreams of rock and roll stardom, a Clark Kent of the Coal Board by day, and an industrial jazz punk Keith Moon by night? The first test comes with the news that Clock DVA will be opening for the Human League on 2 nights of their UK tour, in support of their new album, Travelogue, or Travel Lodge as we quietly call it amongst ourselves down the pub. After a trip to Manvers Main Colliery for an X-ray and a medical, and this is the one and only time I will actually visit a mine, I'm able to slip away for the afternoon to meet the band at our rehearsal room, a damp garret in a yard next to the Limit Club on West Street. We head off in the van over the A57 towards Manchester, with strapping Stockport lad and General Bon Vivant Martin Fry as our onboard human sat-nav. Imagine getting lost in Manchester and having to ask Ian Curtis for directions. The van chuckles as half a dozen arms flail around in a clumsy, affectionate tribute to the Joy Division singer's frenzied St. Vitus dance. Blithely unaware that his own final, tragic dance with his demons had ended just hours earlier. We arrive at Manchester University, where young fans are swarming around the stage door, hoping to meet the Human League. The band have just appeared on Top of the Pops for the first time, miming to their cover version of Gary Glitter's Rock and Roll Part 2 from the Holiday 80 EP. Pop princes awaiting coronation. We are on stage, completing a rudimentary sound check, when the venue doors open and a fizzing stream of student fans pour across the hall to get the best spot up against the barrier in front of the stage. They gaze up at us in curious expectation. Here we are now, entertainers. No time for stage clothes, no time for intro tapes. We shrug and start to earnestly assault their senses with our truculent plague of virulent noise, to which, in fairness to ourselves, they are surprisingly responsive to. Our brief 25-minute set completed, our gear is swept away by previously unseen hired hands to make room for the Scars, who are the main support on all the tour dates. Edinburgh lads, about the same age as us. They have a connection with the Fast Product label, who released the first Human League single. The Scars blaze away, running through their porcupine pop songs with the bravura of a band who have a run of shows under their belt. Then the roadies re-emerge from the shadows to set up the stage for the Human League. This is my first time seeing the League live. I was too young for the infamous night at the Limit Club when they shared the stage with Def Leppard. So while I bought Being Boiled and liked Empire State's Human, there always seemed to be something else to spend my dole money on. 3 huge screens dominate the stage as the intro tape gives way to the ominous creep of The Black Hit of Space. The song explodes into life. John Barry meets James Burke atop a synthetic sledgehammer beat. Suddenly, the screens are alive, a constantly rotating, pulsating patchwork of imagery. JFK, B-52 bombers, radio transmitters, John Wayne, Vargas girls, moon landings, Lolita, and more. Sex, money, and power. A bewildering myriad of pop culture imagery, endlessly shifting in front of the eyes. Disney's Black Hole, Janet Leigh, helicopter gunships, Lauren Bacall, all coupled with the tumultuous torrent of sonic energy pouring forth from the PA. I am instantly utterly transfixed and amazed by the sensory overload. This, then, is the gift of sound and vision that I have been waiting for. Phil Oakey, his hair like a Hokusai wave, is centre stage, wearing what could be reasonably described as a big girl's blouse. The hypnotic, undulating pulse of Dreams of Leaving begins, as Phil, with extraordinary prescience, dusts off his crystal ball to foresee a distant 21st century future of civil wars, human trafficking, desperate refugees and displaced immigrants. I felt I had to come here. I thought things would be better. The situation's changed, but I find I'm still resented. Someone wants my job. It is someone in this building. Someone spreading rumours, and I don't feel I can stay here. Just behind Phil stands Adrian Wright, studiously attentive at his workstation. Ring binders of slides illuminated by an angle-poised lamp, cueing and triggering the imagery which continues to mesmerise the audience. I'm fascinated by the juxtaposition of futuristic sounding music and visuals which evoke the recent past. Next up is Lou Reed's Perfect Day. The stage darkens, allowing Adrian to change the slides in the projectors behind the screens. Martin Ware, sporting a California Highway Patrol style shirt and a Joy of Sex beard, accompanies Phil's stentorian rendition on piano. Today is Martin's 24th birthday. Then is the Jodorowsky disco of A Crow and a Baby and a giddy electro romp through Mick Ronson's Only After Dark. Ian Craig Marsh, wearing headphones the size of oven gloves, stands in front of a small telephone switchboard of snaking wiring, prodding the beats along, dutifully keeping an eye on the 2 Revox tape machines churning out the backing tracks. What with the slide presentation, workstations, telephone exchange and the hypnotic unspooling reels of tape, This could be the opening act of IBM, the musical, starring Phil and Martin as the bright lights of sales, with Ian and Adrian as the unsung, unassuming backroom boffins. Phil flicks his Niagara curtain of hair as the last song, WXJL Tonight, shimmers gracefully around the hall. Harry Chapin's WOLD reimagined for the digital age, and eerily predicting the takeover and homogenisation of independent radio by the Clear Channel behemoth of the 1990s. We head home in good spirits over the Snake Pass, gazing at the stars over Kinder Scout. In bed by 2:30, back at my desk at 9. This touring lark is a slice of Battenberg.
The way I see it, it's just less competition for us.
Ian Curtis is dead. And down-to-earth, no-nonsense saxophonist Charlie Collins is unmoved by the news as the van heads down the M1 towards Derby for our second and final support slot with the Human League. Blunt, seasoned and unsentimental, Charlie's seen it all before. He saw the Doors at the Roundhouse in 1968, and he wasn't that bothered when Jim Morrison died either. He's a wise old owl, and he's right. This is a competitive business. But nonetheless, I'm upset by the news. Unknown Pleasures is one of my favourite albums, soundtracking countless epic air guitar sessions in front of the living room mirror, or as a subconscious echo to existential mooching around town. No one in the office asked the new kid in the green suit why he's wearing a black tie at work. Tonight's gig is at the cavernous Derby Assembly Rooms, an unlovely concrete shed which has just hosted the British Snooker Championships. News of the Human League's imminent promotion to UK music's top flight has been slow to reach the East Midlands, and we play with great gusto to polite pockets of applause from a well-scattered gathering. The Scars fare a little better. I'm hugely impressed with their interpretation of Your Attention Please, Peter Porter's terrifying poem of impending nuclear obliteration, which we studied at school. It's set here to thunderous riffing, martial drums, and a passionate, desperate invocation by vocalist Rob King. Backstage, we get chatting to the Scars. They are sound, affable lads with humdinger Scottish accents. All their gear was stolen after the Manchester gig, and they are stoically getting by on loaned equipment. Someone mischievously suggests we drink the Human League's rider. Until now, I've thought a rider is some poor unfortunate who's become unseated in the 3:30 at Plumpton. And only now do I discover that this is the name given to the snacks, beverages and fluffy towels requested by the headliner at each venue. Some years hence, I'll discover who actually pays for this privilege, but tonight in Derby, all I can see is free booze. So we talk about Ian Curtis, we talk about music, good gigs and bad gigs. There is laughter, there are toasts. And I'm young and naive enough to hope that there might be some kind of camaraderie of the road between musicians. And perhaps this is what it feels like.
So, where's the fucking money?
Fuck off!
A row breaks out in our camp, bursting the bubble of bonhomie. Internecine falling out is a regular occurrence, especially over matters of finance. And this one has been brewing like a fart in a full Ford Transit. One for all and all for one, except when it comes to money, mutters Charlie, darkly. Sod this. I step out, take a seat at the side of the auditorium and watch the Human League. Their dazzling son et lumière has captured the small but enthusiastic crowd, and they have been called back out for a 3-song encore. Brand new Dance Floor Filler Marianne, near hit Empire State Human, and the As Seen on TV Rock and Roll Part 2. The Human League are professional recording artists on the same label as Captain Beefheart and the Sex Pistols, and they're from my hometown. 18 months ago, they were a hospital porter, 2 computer programmers, and a film student. It can be done, I tell myself. I cast my eyes up to the rows of vacant seats on the balcony and find myself thinking about Doug Mountjoy, Bill Werbeneck, and Ray Reardon. I think about my mum and dad and growing up, and the futile but oddly comforting habit of watching Pot Black on a monochrome telly. Next day, I'm hungover, staring into a VDU, trying to make sense of the microfiche reader. Meanwhile, the Human League are sound-checking at Tiffany's in Coventry, just 2 more shows away from a headliner at London's famous Hammersmith Odeon. Clark Kent, can you hear me? You have been listening to My Life in the Mosh of Ghosts with me, your host, Roger Quayle, and thank you for joining me. Thanks also to Brent for the guest voice, and to Rionagh for the artwork, and to Simon Elliott Kemp for the intro and outro music. Join me next time for another tale from My Life in the Mosh of Ghosts. This is Roger Quayle saying thank you, and bye-bye.